Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. As every single day I'm sharing with you updates, energy updates, and random special messages that are the most aligned with that specific day. Today I have a powerful reminder. Actually, I have 3 reminders for you. And the number that will be resonating with you the most, 1, 2, or 3, is also symbolizing the message that maybe you needed the most for today, or maybe for this certain period you're in right now. So how many of you are feeling like, this strange feeling when you're leaving a place, when you've been traveling, you're in that hotel room, and at the moment when you're going back home or leaving that place or leaving that destination, that strange feeling like you're leaving something behind. This may be the feeling that many of you are feeling right now for your entire life. And it's due to all the upgrades that are happening right now on soul level, on energy level, but also on physical level, as you've been doing many upgrades in your life. Yesterday we've been talking about the closure, the number 9, which is the number that symbolizes closure. It symbolizes the ending phase of a cycle. Right now, many of us are feeling like something so big is beginning, but we're just not there yet. We're feeling this strange feeling like we're leaving something behind, like something that was so big for us, something we've been attached to, something like a part of our identity is slowly being released, because there's a greater identity that is really not an identity, it's entity, right? It's you, it's your soul, it's spirit. It's the fire in the heart of these ancient paintings that we see often in churches, where Jesus is holding in his hand a heart in which there's a fire. This is the ignition of a bigger you, deeper you, wiser you that is being born during this phase. And there's many things you are letting go due to this new discovery. And there's many new activities maybe that are being born out of this discovery. So how many of you already resonate with that? Because in my life, I'm deeply feeling it right now. Like something new is being born. And with that something new, I just feel more drawn only into things that really speak to me, that really resonate deeply with me. So it's a fresh new beginning for many of us. And the first message that comes with the number 1 is to think about what is still present in your life that no longer resonates with you. And be precise here. Think about what is still present in your life that no longer resonates with you. Those may be certain objects. You see, each thing we have in our lives has an emotional association with it. And sometimes we are wondering, like when we get back home, like why are we feeling this way? How many times you experience, like you go outside into the nature, or you meet your friend somewhere at a beautiful place and you feel inspired and everything is great. And then you get back home and this sense of inspiration disappears. Like a sense of joy slowly, it gets dimmed. And you're wondering like why I so easily lose it. Well, many times it's because your home has so many associations with your old you, with your old self, with your non-enthusiastic self, or maybe non-inspired self, or non-motivated self, or spiritual self, whatever. And the point is, as we're growing and changing, our environment should grow and change with us as well. Because otherwise, it's just, who wins? Will our environment win and pull us back into the old, or will we win and adapt our environment to the new? That's why in ancient Buddhist practices, they use the practice of cleaning environments, as the practice of cleaning their own hearts, because it's all interconnected. Like, you are taking care of yourself, you should also take care of your environment. And you already know that, but think about certain unfinished projects or certain unfinished work. I'm an artist, and I know how it is when you have these unfinished canvases all around the studio, or unfinished written books, unfinished written poetry, unfinished, done projects. And when it comes to letting go or finishing, we need to decide. So there's one practice I've adopted, I think 2 years ago, because I said I don't want to have these unfinished paintings around me. I said I will grab each canvas and I will ask it, do I want to finish it, do I want to repaint it, or do I want to throw it away? So those were actually 3 different decisions I needed to make. And when I've started doing that, I've noticed there's so much less stored energy in the room where I'm creating in my studio. As today you're watching one of my paintings. I've noticed that this is so healthy for the flow, the stream of energy that is feeding me, that is giving me life, and that is inspiring me. And so many times when it comes to letting go of what no longer resonates with us, we really need to think deeply about ourselves and about our environment. Like, how many things are still cluttering the space that have nothing to do with who we've become? Like some old pictures on the walls, or some old quotes, or some old stuff that's just there. How many times you feel like that? And what could you do to change it? Sometimes it's unpleasant work, right? Because we get attached to things. Like my father, he's kind of saving everything. He's putting everything on a side, like maybe one day I will need it. But we all know that this day will never come, right? So we are cluttering all the spaces, and then the energy gets cluttered, and we lose a sense of flow. We lose a sense of fluidity. So for any spiritual, emotional, and mental progress, we also need to create this kind of progress outside of us. So notice, if there's something around you right now that no longer resonates with you, let it go. Maybe it's even a plan, right? Sometimes we're planning our lives way too much. Like Joseph Campbell said something so powerful. He said, we must let go of the life we have planned so as to accept the one that is waiting for us. And it doesn't say you shouldn't have plans in your life, but it says you shouldn't be attached to your plans. Because one thing that life taught me is that I have never planned to do what I'm doing today. When it comes to painting, when it comes to making this kind of videos, being a messenger for you, I was not planning it. But I was planning to live a happy life, to live a purposeful life, to live an abundant and healthy life. That was my plan. But then I needed to let go of how it will happen, and I needed to in tune with my soul to recognize where I truly feel drawn to. So there are 5 steps of letting go that I want to share with you very quickly right now. The first one is reset. Learn to reset yourself when you feel overwhelmed mentally, emotionally, maybe even spiritually. You've been exposed to heavy energies. Reset yourself. This is the first way of letting go of the old. Reset. Reset your mind by some meditation, quietness, or nature. Reset your emotions by focusing on something that provides you a sense of peace. And reset your spiritual self or soul by doing something that really rejoices you, that really gives you a sense of incredible tranquility. Okay? The second way to let things go is to realign yourself. Realign. You know there's something you have to do. You know there's something that speaks to you. You know there's something you truly love doing. And realigning is getting back on track. Like sometimes, even though we love, I don't know, I'm speaking for myself right now. I love working out. But sometimes I lose the track, right? And I lose the discipline with it. And then realignment for me is to wake myself up and remind myself, hey, my energy levels are so much higher and I feel so much better when I am working out. And then realignment is getting back on track, right? And then the third part of letting go is restart. Restart something. Whatever you've started and you've noticed, well, it is not making the right results, you can restart and find a new way, find a new approach, or maybe build a new skill. That's how you restart something. Sometimes I fail a painting and I restart it the way that I repaint it, right? And sometimes we are reading a book and we forget what we've written and we restart it. We start from the beginning. Artists in hip hop, they start from scratch, right? They did in the past. Now, not many of them are doing great music anymore, but they did in the past, right? They started from scratch. That's how we restart something. Start from scratch. Then the fourth step to letting go is to reclaim. Reclaim. Sometimes you forget how powerful you are. So reclaim your power. Sometimes you forget how abundant you are. So reclaim your abundance. Sometimes you forget how wise you are. So reclaim your wisdom. Sometimes you forget about setting boundaries. So reclaim boundaries. Sometimes people will cross your boundaries. So reclaim your boundaries. Right? And then the fifth part to letting go is to reignite your fire. Reignite your fire. This usually means to let go of laziness, to let go of procrastination, to let go of this lazy behavior where you're constantly distracting yourself and doing all kinds of things just so you would not walk your purpose. Reignite means to remember once again what truly puts your soul on fire. This is the fifth part of letting go. So this was a message for number one. Think about what is still present in your life that no longer resonates with you. Then number two, whoever will resonate with number two today, this message is for you. Something new is calling you. It may be what you're on for a while, but maybe a deeper and more authentic approach or depth. Something new is calling you. So how many of you are feeling like something new is calling you? Maybe the job you've been doing is just not it anymore. Or maybe a certain relationship, that person, you just don't feel connection anymore. Or maybe it's time to deepen it. It's time to become more you, more authentic you, which means that you start acting more from your soul rather than identity. So it comes to what some people call authentic empowerment, which means that you start doing things that really come from your soul, which means you need to know your soul, you need to know yourself. And to know yourself, you need to understand what are your weaknesses, what are your strengths, what are your qualities, what you're good at, what you're not so good at, what you love doing, what you hate doing. And you start filtering your life the way that there's more things that truly spark life within you and less things that don't. It's simple like that. Because, sometimes it's not really how much time we spend doing what we love, but actually how little time we spend doing what we hate. And if we build our lives around what we love doing, then there will be less and less and less of what we hate doing. It doesn't say stop doing what you hate or stop doing what is hard. I don't mean that, because I'm doing so many things that are hard for me and that I don't want to do. And I know I still need to do them at this point. So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you could do much more things that you truly love to do. There's something you love to do. And maybe there is something new that is calling you that actually comes out of love. Because your soul loves you. You are actually it. You are love. But you've forgotten. And then love is calling you into doing more of what you love. Talking more about what you love. Being more of what you love. Which is usually not even a physical thing. Like be more like this or be more like that or be more like this one. It's more of an emotional experience. Like, can you bring more love to this? Can you bring more compassion to this? Can you bring more kindness to this? Can you bring more creativity to this? It's always more an energy thing, more as a frequency than anything physical. Like sometimes people don't like themselves and they think they should change something about themselves. Well, actually, it's all about the attitude. It's all about energy, right? How can I love myself the way I am? How can I accept myself the way I am? And could I surround myself with people who will actually uplift me the way I am, so I will not need to change myself for someone else? Which also doesn't say you should stop taking care of yourself. It just says you start loving yourself because you deserve to be loved. And when you love yourself, you also take care of yourself, because love inspires health, and health needs change. It requires action towards a positive spiral movement, right? So everything is interconnected. And maybe if something new is calling you, this may be resonating with you right now. Buddha said something interesting when he said, just as a candle cannot burn without fire, man cannot live without a spiritual life. And spiritual life here is not meant by something mystical, like you should have mystical experiences or you should pray or meditate. More than anything, it means to stay connected with the eternal you, the inner you that lives forever, that knows the answers, that knows that everything is already taken care of. And you just need to manifest it through yourself, through action. And it's the spiritual part of you that provides you with inspiration. It's the part of you that knows that there's something greater that could be done through you that inspire you. It's the part of you that inspire you to stand up for yourself when you meet injustice. It's the part of you that inspire you to create something beautiful when you see that there's a lack of beauty. It's the part of you that inspires you to speak the truth at the times when there's a lack of it. Not in a forceful way, in a loving way. When there's force, there's ego. When there's flow, there's love. Just remember this. When conversation is fluid, it comes out of love. When it's forceful, it comes out of ego. And ego always wants something for itself. Just remember that. And then the third message, the number 3, with whoever this resonates, this message is for you. New levels of balance is a new beginning for you at this point. New levels of balance. So there's so many things we could talk about here. Where is a lack of balance? Because we find balance between work and play, right? And sometimes work could become more playful. And therefore playfulness could include our work. It's something that should be a greatest goal for ourselves. I think I've discovered it, but I'm still challenged by it sometimes. I love what I'm doing, but I could still bring more play to it sometimes, like we all could. But recognize, is your work a play? And if it's not, could you bring more work to what is a play for you? Could you make a job out of what you love playing around with? Like art or something that may give you a sense of purpose. Those are all new levels of balance that can be born within your life right now. Just think about it. I'm giving you examples, and then whatever resonates with you, well, take it onto a deeper level. And if you have any questions, write them in the comments, and if there will be a repetition, then I can make a video about it. Then another way to give birth to more balance in your life is between stillness and movement. It's often also for more of this type of people who are deeply into spirituality. Balance between meditation and then action, and actually bringing out all these realizations you've discovered on your spiritual research into public or into a community or into your family. Through action, through organizing yourself. Isn't meditation a practice where we learn to organize ourselves? We learn to organize energies, to declutter energies, so then we can experience more coherency in our lives, which is a very important thing. If we're lacking coherency in a physical life, well, then it must be quite hard to live. And meditation should serve us to bring all of this into a physical life, because it's quite messy. For many people, physical life is quite messy, and many people are trying to escape from it. That's why solutions in this apartment are very important. And therefore, if you think that they're not, you're mistaken. Think about how could you bring more balance to it. Or maybe you are very active. You're constantly in motion and you need some more stillness in your life, so you can maybe take care of your stress, manage it a little bit, and notice that even your life is not as stressful as you thought it is. You just had no time to manage it, or maybe no tool. Then another way that may be for you right now when it comes to balance is between solitude and socializing, which is again a big thing. For such a long time I thought I'm an introverted person just because I was surrounded with people who were not interested in what I'm doing, and I was not interested in what they are doing. So I was quiet and living in my own world. But then when I've started, building my own social circle, I've recognized that I'm actually also quite extroverted when it comes to things and topics I love to discuss. And when we have the right people around us, we recognize that we are both. We are introverted and we are extroverted. It's just, where we find ourselves and how well we've managed our lives to be surrounded with right people and right energies. So it's another great reminder here to create more balance for us. Solitude and socializing. Well, just maybe think about it. And then the last part to it is what I often find in myself, balance between discipline and freedom. Not that I am perfect at it, far from that. Sometimes I find myself working all day long, and at the end of the day I feel, I should free myself right now. And then I go for a walk and I recognize, well, it's not enough. And sometimes, you know, we are too free and we recognize we need more discipline. Like, I need to take care of my body. I need to take care of my mind. I feel like there's chaos in my mind present. I feel like I've become quite closed-minded, or I feel like I'm stuck in a prison and I need some freedom. So wherever you find yourself, always look for solutions. Read a book about it or study something that will deeply inspire you and then slowly integrate it into your life. And remember what a great teacher, Swami Vivekananda, said: you have to grow from the inside out. None can teach you, none can make you spiritual. There is no other teacher but your own soul. So I mention books often, and I mention great teachers often. Also, some of them are my great mentors, or have been. I recognize that most of the time, what we need from other people is words that we couldn't find to articulate what we feel. Because once we can articulate, we can also understand it, right? And one great saying goes that your reality is always equal to your language. When you expand your language, you will notice that you start to see more things around you. You start to notice things. You can connect the dots. You can read patterns. Only when you expand your vocabulary, when you expand your words, language. And it may be quite helpful when it comes to balance, because sometimes we think, oh, I'm so stressed, or I'm so depressed, or I'm so sad. But actually we just feel an overwhelming energy due to lack of management of our own habits and activity. And now when we know these words, we can question what they mean. What's the deeper meaning of energy management? And we recognize, oh, it's actually habit management. It's routine management. It's sleep management. It's nutrition management. And suddenly we discover all these new worlds of what we haven't taken care of. And then we start taking care of all these different worlds, and we recognize that we become the product of the worlds we've taken care of. And isn't it what the universe is doing? We find all these different planets, all these different universes. And sometimes we think it has nothing to do with us. But actually everything is interconnected. That's why I said at the beginning, when you take care of your environment, your heart will feel more at ease. But simultaneously, when you take care of your heart, your environment will also become more pleasant to be in. You shouldn't neglect anything, but also you shouldn't obsess yourself over anything. That is a beautiful state of balance. So my friend, I hope you found something valuable today. Let me know which message resonated with you the most, 1, 2, or 3. I'm curious to know. And also let me know if you like this type of concept of the videos, because it helps also me to make better videos. Thank you so much, my friend. And also, I hope you've enjoyed in today's painting. As you know, I'm an artist, and you can actually find all of my work on our store, AttractPassion.com, where you can actually buy a painting from me. You can buy a print of my painting in different sizes, high quality. You can find everything there, and you can also find some of my original paintings. Not all of them are for sale, but some of them are. Also, thanks to everyone for joining our Patreon community. For more exclusive content, you're all truly appreciated, my friend. The link is in the description of this video, and till next time, one love.